Dynasty players in the house. It's the Dynasty front office, and we are building you championships one trade at a time.
What's up, everybody? I'm Austin Bell, and today we're going to do the 2026 Rookie Prospect Profile of the Week. We're going to do Ty Simpson. First off, Jesse, Chad, how are y'all doing today?
I'm awesome, Austin. How are you?
Oh, man, I'm great. Get to talk about what I'm assuming everybody's QB2 is in this class. Maybe, maybe not, but excited to see where we land on them.
Right on.
Cool. Before we get any further in analysis, I'm going to give you some basic information. Redshirt junior from Alabama, currently 23 years old, 6'1", 211. Did no athletic testing at the combine, but did do the drills. 2025, he had a 64.5% completion with 3,500 yards, 28 touchdowns, and only 5 interceptions, which was a good for 1.06 interception rate. Really secure with the ball. 5.92 touchdown rate. Started the season off really strong. Ended up with a 76 QBR per ESPN, which was about 20th in the nation. So not bad, but if you look at his early numbers, I think it was the first 6 games, he was like 2 or 3 per their ranking. So second half of the season fell off a little bit. So Jesse, tell me what you saw watching him. I know none of us are QB gurus, but tell me where you're at with them.
Yeah, QB is definitely the toughest position for me to evaluate. One thing I can tell you about Ty Simpson is that he's a really good processor. I want to say elite, but this goes into his biggest negative is we just haven't seen him enough to know that it's elite.
Yeah.
So we haven't seen him in enough situations. We haven't seen him face enough adversity to know that he's going to be elite when the going really gets tough. What we've seen so far has been great. He's an excellent processor pre-snap. After the snap, he goes through his reads quickly. He knows where to go with the ball. He knows the system. Um, he's a great point guard type quarterback. The arm strength is good, but not great. The downfield accuracy is not great either. But the short to intermediate is his game. He's pinpoint accurate in those situations or in those areas. But he's also not really that big. So he's kind of got that against him, and he doesn't have that rocket arm. He's got a good arm. He's got good arm strength, and he's got good arm talent, but it's not that rocket arm. Honestly, what it all boils down to me is he's a little like a right-handed Tua, but Tua had been around, man.
Yeah.
Tua had been, he won a national championship, like or two, right? It was more than one, wasn't he? It was the one where he took over for Hurts.
Yeah, I don't remember well enough to
Anyway,
speak on it.
yeah, I don't watch college football enough to know that. Um, but so, like I said, he doesn't have the experience, and Tua was very polarizing as well because he didn't have the arm strength and the size and the flashy traits. So if he hits in a way that you know is going to be very sustainable in fantasy for a long time. Because it's because of his mental game, right? That's not gonna go anywhere. It's not gonna diminish. But I think he has to go to the right situation and the right um, system that to fit his traits, and he's got to get the draft capital, or I'm not going to care.
Yeah. I think a name that interests me for a quote unquote comparison would be Brock Purdy. He's a lot less careless with the ball, but the way he plays the position and kind of what you're wanting to see out of him in the NFL is that type of quarterbacking. And obviously, he went to the perfect system for him. So I
Mm-hmm.
agree with that wholeheartedly. I did want to clarify he's only started 15 games. I did forget to mention that, which, as
Yeah.
Jesse said, is a very big concern. And also, as I brought up early, started the season really strong. Some people are going to say it's because of the injury, which they never really disclosed exactly what it was, just that he got hurt. Um, It's also the competition got better as the season went, so I think you can make an argument either way. But Chad, where do you land on this?
Yeah, he's interesting. It's crazy because if you watch his first, I mean, 8 games, it was like Tennessee was the last like really good game. Um, Everything before that, man, like he looks special. He looked really good. Um, but yeah, I mean, I just remember watching him against South. I think it was South Carolina or Oklahoma. I forget who that Week 9 game was. Um, but it wasn't very it wasn't good, and it just went downhill from there. The last 4 games were really rough. Um, I hope there was some kind of injury holding him back, but uh, he's just one of these guys that 1 year starter. There's a lot left on the bone as far as what we need to find out about him. Um, Quarterbacks for dynasty for fantasy really 50-50. They're coin flips anywhere you get them, right? As far as the guys that get draft capital. So if he gets it, I'm gonna go after him. But yeah, there's not any kind of trait that I look at from a physical perspective that jumps off the page. I will say, man, the dude is courageous across the middle of the field. Like he's gonna make. If you just watch his tape, if you cut out the middle of the field and you just watch those throws, you're like, man, this guy is like legit early first round talent. He's really good in the middle of the field, but it's just um some of the kind of off platform kind of stuff, off script, which he does well some at some points, and other points he's just missing throws. I think it was like 56% or 57% in the last 4 games completion percentage, which is just not good enough. It's not good enough, and yeah, like Georgia, Indiana, a couple other good games in there. So really good competition, but still, you just wanna see something better than that from a guy going in the first round.
Yeah, we're unfortunately not going to get, was it University of Louisiana Monroe much in the NFL?
Yeah,
Yeah.
So I don't think we're going to get that competition where he was 17 for 17 for 226 and 3 against them. So if we
but
can
he
get
was
that kind of
decent.
competition,
He was decent against Georgia early in the year. That
correct.
was like the thing that kind of threw me off. Is I remember watching him in that first game against Georgia, and I was like, hey man, like he's holding his own here. Like he looks good. That last game against Georgia to close out the season was pretty awful. It was rough.
Let me ask you in the first, if we were just evaluating the first half of the season, would you rather have Simpson or Mendoza?
If it were just evaluating him and Mendoza's first half of the season,
Correct.
Simpson.
Yes.
Simpson.
Okay, that's what I was
And
wondering because
honestly,
that's kind
Dante
of where
Moore, if you're going to include first half of seasons, but we can't quite do that. But
Yeah,
Dante
yeah,
Moore might be my quarterback one if
yeah. We'll
he's
talk
coming
about
out.
it. We'll talk about him next year.
Yeah.
yeah,
But yeah, I mean, Ty Simpson's start to the season was really, really good. I think if you're cutting out like I said, those 7 or 8 games from Mendoza to start off the year and from Ty Simpson, I think Ty Simpson was a better player.
yeah. So I found a little
Most
more
weeks.
context to the injury. Shout out the Tuscaloosa News. Um,
Oh, thanks,
yeah,
Tuscaloosa.
yeah. Thank you. So mid to late October, he had a lower back injury and also dealt with elbow bursitis and gastritis for the remainder of the season.
I mean, I deal with gastritis on a daily basis.
Me
Cry
too.
me a river.
But the lower back injury and elbow bursitis is pretty severe for a guy who has to throw the ball. So I mean, maybe give him a little bit of pass there. And he also cracked a rib during the Indiana game. That's why he didn't finish.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So back, elbow, rib. These are things that affect your quarterback play a lot.
Yeah, yeah. Lower back injuries suck. So that's definitely could see you losing velocity on throws, especially as Chad mentioned, as good as he was in the middle of the field, making those boundary throws takes a lot of torque from that hip, back area. So it does make sense why that significantly got worse.
I could really, in my mind, I just think that the Steelers are going to take him. He just seems like a fit for them. I think he can run Mike McCarthy's offense really, really well. Like when I say a good fit, I think that's a really good fit. I would be interested in him at anywhere from 107 on probably if that were to happen.
What picks do Arizona have? Do they have their second rounder?
Yeah,
Yes, they do.
I thought
It would
about
be
Arizona, but they signed
They signed
signed
Gardner
Minshew,
Minshew.
And they're going to run it back with Brissett. It
Yeah.
feels
well,
like they're
yeah.
going to
That's why.
tank it.
Yeah, but if you're gonna take a shot at a quarterback, or if you need to take a shot at a quarterback, the way I see it, just do it every year you can, right? And if
Hmm.
Ty Simpson's there at the back end of the first, if they can trade back in and get him, and then also use their first round pick earlier to make their roster better, I don't see why they shouldn't do that. Because they have some pieces in play, with Marvin Harrison, with McBride, and it's not a barren roster. And these quarterbacks, like we said, they're dart throws. So
Yeah.
I would say that's the smart move, but maybe not the likeliest.
I mean, I agree totally. I think if being the Rams lost that late first now, I think the real hope is a team in the early second does move up if Pittsburgh doesn't take them. Because the rest of that late first, I mean, Chargers, Philly, maybe Cleveland, maybe, but
Maybe.
Chicago, no. Buffalo, no. San Fran, no. Houston, probably not. Kansas City, Denver, New England, Seattle. So
My
if you,
my worry is that he makes it to the back end of the first in the 20s, and the Cleveland Browns take him at 24. That's my
yeah,
big worry. But
Mm.
as long as that doesn't happen, there's not too many landing spots that I'm too worried about, to be honest with you.
yeah, I
I
think I agree with that statement. I
I
mean,
just
other
think
than the Jets.
if
Yeah, yeah.
if Arizona or the Jets trade up into the back of the first, or even take him with their high second, it kind of precludes them from taking a quarterback next year. So I don't think they
We
would.
know it doesn't. We watched
Why?
Arizona do it. They took Josh
They just did
Rosen
that
and
with
took
Kyler.
Kyler the next year.
Josh Rosen was such an
And
unmitigated
especially
bust.
with uh, the Arizona in general, like if it doesn't work this year for them, that whole coaching staff is gone for sure. So, if they don't see some kind of progress, even if it's not from a young quarterback, if the team doesn't seem like they gel, Gannon's not going to be there. So, a new coach could absolutely want a new quarterback to work with.
Gannon got fired,
No, he didn't.
didn't he?
No,
They
they
kept
changed
him.
front office. They fired Petzing.
And
That
they kept Gannon, huh?
Yeah,
that's the thing with quarterback. If you don't have one, you don't want to be the Cleveland Browns, right? Like the Cleveland Browns just don't have a quarterback on the roster.
They did
Maybe
not
Shador
keep
pans
Gannon.
out, but
Mike LaFleur is their head coach.
Oh yeah, you're right. Thank you.
but yeah. So you just don't want to be in quarterback purgatory. I say take a dart throw. Take as many as you need to. I don't think taking a quarterback at the late first, means you can't take one next year. If you take one in the late first, you have him in your building for a year. You don't like, what you see, then you go and get another guy.
I agree totally. Especially if you're not taking them in the early first. Early first is harder to get rid of that
Yeah.
next year. A late first, who cares? You take bad players all the time in the late first.
Ty
But our
Simpson
team,
is, yeah, he's not the right guy to do that with though. Like he needs development. So if you're only giving him a year, you're not going to learn that much about him.
yeah. I mean, I don't disagree with that statement either, to be honest. But the NFL's changed a lot from what we saw 2 decades ago.
Yeah,
It's
nearly.
so true. I mean, it
Unless
really
you're,
is a year to year league.
yeah,
Yeah.
unless you're a top 5, top 10 kind of quarterback, you're not really getting time. Like that's just the reality of it.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate because he
Chad,
needs time.
Any other red flags for you outside of the playing time? And I guess your bound is it just the boundary throws for you? Is that the biggest?
It's just the inconsistencies, really.
Okay.
Just the inconsistencies. Like there's not really anything that he does other than, I think some of his better, middle of the field kind of play that I think is consistent from, down to down or game to game or, you know, in season to playoff. Like there's nothing consistent about anything he did last year. So for me, that's what separates him and Fernando Mendoza. Whereas Fernando Mendoza, he got better as the year progressed, and was able to do it in clutch moments and was able to show a little bit more, um, you know, uh, feistiness as a runner and able to make some of the big time throws and stuff. Ty Simpson just it just didn't he didn't seem like he did well in the big moments when the school called on him and he was supposed to be that guy. So yeah, for me there's just a lot there. But again, it's 1 year. There's a lot of unknown. We haven't seen that much of him, and a significant chunk of it did look good.
Talk to me about the athleticism. I mean, is there any rushing
Average,
upside?
Yeah. I don't,
average.
I don't think you're not drafting him for the running aspect of it. At least not what we saw last year.
Is there enough to get him out of trouble when he needs?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, he can move around the pocket. That's not going to be a problem. He's not like a statue or anything, but yeah, it's not going to be something you're going to want to rely on. That's for sure. He's got too many other parts of his game to work on, in my
Yeah.
opinion, for him to be dealing with an offensive line that's not able to hold their own. That's and one of the main reasons why, a place like Cleveland to me is like a death sentence because they literally don't have a offensive lineman coming back this year from what
Yeah.
it was last year. Maybe that's a good thing, but it's also entirely new line where they don't know what they're getting.
It's true. I mean, they signed some good names, but
Yeah, they
we,
did.
it takes time for offensive lines to gel. It's
Yeah.
not going to just happen week one.
Next thing, we'll kind of look at last year's class as prospects. I'm assuming Shador was be above him for both of y'all as a prospect.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
Okay.
Pretty comfortably.
yeah, I'd have Shador above him.
I'd
All right.
I'd have him after Shador and after Dart.
Okay.
When
That
I
was the next name. I know neither one of y'all were high on Dart, so you had some excitement here and there, but it kind of feels similar in different reasons for Dart last year as Simpson this year, which is probably why he's going to go in similar rookie draft range. You know, how do you feel strongly one way or another with
I
Dart
thought
and
Dart was a
Simpson?
much
yeah,
better player
I agree.
than
yeah.
Simpson, like as a
Yeah.
prospect.
I
Much
mean,
better
Dart had
player
been
as a
around
prospect.
forever. So much
Yeah.
experience. You knew kind of. I mean, you know what you were getting out of Dart, but you knew he could handle. He can handle just running an offense. It's my biggest question. I guess my biggest question actually is about Ty Simpson is if his superpower, if his elite trait is his processing, pre-snap and just after the snap, and he's so inexperienced, then like how do those two things marry up? You know what I mean? If the thing he's supposed to be so good at is also the thing that he has to work on, how is that going to work in the NFL? It's
Sounds
pretty
like to me
scary.
he has to be behind somebody
Yeah,
for a period of time so he
right.
can actually
I
learn
I
the
don't
game.
I don't think he has like any significant weaknesses. Like when I watch Ty Simpson, I don't think there's anything I look at and say, "Oh man, this is a glaring hole." He's just inconsistent. But we have guys obviously different category, but Drake May was incredibly inconsistent in
That is
college.
true.
So
That's true
it's
too.
not
Yeah,
to say that a player can't be really inconsistent in college, especially in a small sample size, and then come out into the league and not put things together. Um, if I think there's a certain amount of aptitude that quarterbacks just have or they don't, because there's so much processing going on, not just before a snap, but also after the snap. And if they can't do it, they can't do it. So I think that's what we're kind of waiting on to see if Ty Simpson can just process after the ball is snapped. But everything else, I don't think there's any kind of significant weakness for me, at least.
And the ball security is encouraging. Now,
Yeah.
a lot of it, the second half of the season was very short yardage. I think his average depth of target from like week 8 on was 6.3 yards, which for college is really
Which
bad.
is also weird, right? Like,
Yeah. I'm guessing it's injury related. I don't know why you would switch in the middle of the season when it was working if it
yeah,
wasn't injury related.
it had to be.
Because before it was almost 11. the
Yeah,
first
it,
7
like,
games
it
of the season.
got cut in half. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's crazy.
So I'm guessing he was hurt, and they just didn't say how bad. But that is it's a stark difference from Chad's right. It's the Tennessee game on. That's South Carolina game, excuse me, on.
I'll tell you what, like if you're getting the prospect from the first 8 games, that uh before that Tennessee game, what week was that? Was that week 8?
It was their Tennessee game was their 7th game.
Okay. So if you're getting the player from the prospect from those slate of games, which maybe it was injury and you do get that player, then and he goes anywhere near the second round, I'd probably rather have him than Mendoza at the 102, to be honest with you. And I like Mendoza a lot. Obviously that's going to be landing spot dependent, but just for, the cost of entry, if that is the player we're getting, and that's a big if, but if that's the player we're getting, I saw a lot that I like. And I don't see any kind of significant weaknesses with him.
I agree with that. It's just the experience for me. When you look at the list of quarterbacks that have, the amount of starts that he has, 15 starts coming out, it's ugly.
It's really bad.
Yeah.
It's really ugly, and that makes him an outlier. So now I'm spending my late first on an outlier, which in this draft you're kind of going to have to. So
you could probably do worse, especially at the quarterback position.
Yeah, at least it's a quarterback. But I want everyone to understand that lack of experience does make him an outlier.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. I think for me, if I was like putting him in last year's class, he would be right around where Tyler Shuck was for me, which worked out. So
I'd have him above Shuck.
Yeah, I think I would too as a prospect. You were the highest, Chad pre-draft. I remember that. But
on Shuck?
Yeah.
No, that was me. That was my guy.
I mean, you were high on him as well, but I was very high on him, Jesse.
That's my guy.
I'm the one that brought him to your attention.
No, you're not. I'll give you a Shador. Okay. You're not.
Oh, I get darts, so yeah, screw both of y'all. But
Chad's mad now.
All right. Anything else on Ty Simpson? I don't think there's much else we know as of now. I think until he gets drafted, we're just kind of hopeful. But anything else y'all have?
No, that's it for me. I got nothing else on him.
Cool. Well, this has been the Rookie Prospect Profile of the Week. Next week, we'll be doing Mike Washington Jr. Thanks,
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the front office. The lights are low, the boards are lit, and the Dynasty clock is ticking. From the heart of the startup draft to the championship throne, one crew rules the long game. Give it up for the undisputed architects of empire, Dynasty Front!